Hello, welcome to the live. So today, this video will be 7 tips to read books on a budget. What I'm going to start doing more is incorporating lives of questions I've just been asked by people or by like my followers here on Instagram. And this is probably one of the most popular ones because it gets pricey. Like books, even if it's paperback, you know, like it all adds up. I know from experience, as you could see behind me. And this isn't even like all the books. I actually need another book. I need another bookcase because I have a ton of books over there that don't fit at all on these 2 bookshelves. So today will be 7 tips, and these are tips that I actually use myself. I'm gonna start with like the free tips and then work my way up to like in price, but still reasonable price. And definitely save or bookmark this video so that you can reference it later. Share this too with others who you feel may want to know about this video. And if you're watching this on the replay when this has turned into IGTV, the descriptions of everything that I've covered will be below, okay? So if you see me look off to the side, it's because I'm looking at like my notes to make sure I don't miss anything, and then I'll periodically hold up my my computer screen so you can see what I'm talking about and also what the options are. So let's start with the free one. The first tip is called rivetedlit.com. So it's Riveted Lit by Simon Teen. So these are actually YA books. The purpose of rivetedlit.com is to discover new books, YA books, and also read books for free. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. So essentially what you do is you go on rivetedlit.com and you click the tab where it says free reads. That's the one in red right up there. And essentially every month they will have a selection of free ebooks that you can read, and you have until the end of the month to read it. There's also some like options for extended excerpts, which is just like longer than a few chapters or so. But I mainly look at the full free reads, and they always have like a really good selection. So for this month, September, one of the books on here I've actually read, and it's actually one of my recommendations for Latinx Heritage Month, and that is Barely Missing Everything. When I saw this this month that it was on there, I like experienced all the emotions that I felt when I read that book. Like that book is so good. So if you haven't checked it out, I definitely recommend it. The one that I'm going to be reading is Cia Martinez and the Moonlit Beginning of Everything. Look at that cool cover. And that is by Raquel Vasquez Gilliland. This one sounds interesting because the description says Aristotle, it said, let me read it here. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe meets Roswell. So that sounds really cool. And Aristotle and Dante is a great book. That sequel's coming out soon too. So for this one, it has connections between immigration, folklore, and alien life. And the main character is a Mexican-American teen. So that is Riveted Lit by Simon Teen. And you will also get access to, like, they'll send you newsletters so you know that the free reads for the month are available. Okay? So that's the first one. The second tip is the Little Free Library. So Little Free Library is a nonprofit organization with more than 100,000 little free libraries worldwide for the purpose of increasing access to free books. And I'll show you what it looks like. It kind of looks like giant birdhouses, and they're located all over. So there's a really good chance that there's one either in your city or cities around you. I know, with this pandemic, it's been hard, right? I think, everyone's been at home or kind of like weary of where they're going and super cautious. The nice thing about the little free library is not only can you get a free book, but you can also just venture outside of your house and maybe even take a little drive if you want. So you will go to, if you're not sure where the nearest one is, go to littlefreelibrary.org. These are essentially like people or places that have signed up to have that little free library where they are. Sometimes it's in like residential neighborhoods. Sometimes it's like on a street somewhere. Sometimes it's outside of a building. So it's also kind of cool. Like it kind of gives me the vibe of like, I remember when like food trucks weren't that big yet. And they were kind of like this new thing. And what all of like me and people I know, what we do is like, we go on like the food trucks, like website or whatever to see where they're located and then drive to where they're at. And this is before there was like food trucks in the parking lot, food trucks at the fair, so this was like way long time ago, but it was kind of like a fun little adventure to do. So I'd say with this, it's kind of a nice one because you can like go on a little adventure and get a free book. The last time I went to one near me, I actually got this, which I haven't read yet. Yes, No, Maybe So by Becky Albertalli and Aisha Saeed. So there's like usually like really interesting eclectic mix to where I found some like really, really good books at my local little free library. Okay. So that's the second option, is the little free libraries. Okay. The third option, oh, hello, who joined? The third option, this is a tip that I took from my late grandpa. He loved reading and he was also like really social. Him and this is like even into his senior years, him and his friends would like get together once a week for coffee and just to chat for like a few hours, and during that time too, one of the things that they would do is each of them would bring a book, and it was like a book that they had recently finished and it was up for grabs for anyone else in the group. There was like, I think at least 8 to 10 of them that would show up to hang out at a time. So someone would bring a book that they just finished and it was up for grabs for anyone else to take it and read it. And so it's kind of this thing where like all these books got passed around in all different types of genres. I'll never forget when during the time when he was going to be going into like a memory care facility, so we had to clean out like his office, and one of the things that we were doing too was like going through all his stuff, and there was this large amount of books, and my stepmom and I were in that section of the office just taking out all the books and like, oh, you want this one, you want that one, are we going to donate this, what are we going to do? And we found Twilight, and we like could not stop laughing. And there was a bookmark in there, meaning he was like reading it at some point. We were like, Grandpa was reading Twilight? Like what? It was like the funniest thing. I don't know. So that's one option. I know with like the book community, or like if you are friends, like sometimes we share values with them, as far as like books, it's like that's actually another option. Like there have been times where I actually have handed a book to someone and be like, oh, this is great. Like, read it, or, maybe this is something you'd be interested in. So having kind of like a book exchange, too, whether it's like one-on-one or within a group, might be something like fun to do. And that's just something that like my grandpa did. So fourth option, also free. Most of these are free. Is the Cloud Library app by Bibliotheca. So the Cloud Library, I wish I had like the icon of it, but it's on Android and iPhone, and on your browser, but I mainly use it on my phone. So essentially what it is it's an app on your phone that you link with your public library card. Here in the state of California, you just have to have like a California ID, but you can go essentially be registered with any public library in the state. So the cool thing with the Cloud Library app is that you link it with your public library cards, and you have access to ebooks and the audiobooks. I know on a previous live, I was going to point, but it's not there anymore. I mentioned that Where is the darn book? I mentioned that I had listened to Joe Coy's audiobook before I like purchased the book, like the actual hard copy myself. And I actually listened to that through the Cloud Library app, right? So that is obviously free. And, you know, like I said, you could essentially be registered. And I think some of them you could also register online, especially during this pandemic, instead of going in with a local library. And for me, one of the biggest libraries that's near me that I've actually been going to since high school that has a very large assortment is the Huntington Beach Central Public Library. So their ebook, audiobook access is very much a reflection of the library, where it is a large amount. So if you also happen to get a public library card from a library that has a large assortment, that cloud library, their cloud library, is gonna be a reflection of that. So, I mean, I think that is like just so wonderful, and a wonderful way to access just so many thousands and thousands of books, essentially, in audiobooks in your state. So that's the fourth one, is the Cloud Library app by Bibliotheca. And essentially you get to virtually check out ebooks and audiobooks, or even put some like virtually on hold too, and it'll let you know when it's ready for you to like virtually check it out. Okay. So the fifth one, so we're at 5 out of 7 now. So this is one of the paid ones, and I'll show you what it looks like. And it's Fierce Reads. And Fierce Reads, let me pull up the website here. I signed up for their newsletter, and it's like free. You can create like a free account. And essentially what happens is each month they will show what the deals are for YA. This is YA. One of my favorite genres is YA. And so, and these deals, these ebook deals, are $2.99. So I've read Cemetery Boys. That is one of my favorite books. And I like how they have that for September, given that like Day of the Dead will be coming up in October. But there's also like Black Girls Unlimited. I actually have a hard copy of that. I haven't read it yet. So they have like a large assortment of full ebooks, and then also like original short stories. And if you click on it, let's say I click on Cemetery Boys because I want to like check that out. It'll pretty much have the links of like kind of where to get it. So you have different options on where you would like to get it for $2.99. So, I mean, that's a deal, because I know for me, Cemetery Boys, I have it and I have the hard copy, and, you know, hard copy, versions are more pricey, and I'm all about supporting authors, but hey, like sometimes you kind of want a deal. So that is fiercereads.com. The sixth one is something we may not have heard this word for a very long time. eBay. eBay is still around. And I found out because I was actually looking for like specific books that I wanted like old versions of. But eBay, they have like newer books, not just ones like that are super old. But I'll show you what I got. And this is at the time when last year I was like, ooh, I want like the original covers of things. So I got Stephen King's Misery. Like, look at that picture. Him in the chair. Oh boy. And then at that same time, Pet Sematary. Look at how cool. Look at that cat. That's like an 80s. That's like an 80s cat. And Jurassic Park, which I'm reading. Poor person who's doing the buddy read with me. She's probably like, can you finish this already? Disclaimer, or side note, the book is better than the movie. Just FYI, from what I've gathered. I'm almost halfway through. It's really good. So essentially, I got all of these for like $5 or less. And the cool thing was, they actually ended up being shipped from used bookstores throughout the country. So it's eBay, and you're also technically supporting small businesses, which during this pandemic has been really, really rough for them. So I highly recommend eBay, and you know, just like other things, you can check the ratings of like the purchasers and like kind of what their experience was. And I ended up, once I realized that one of the ones I got was from a used bookstore, I kind of started mainly just looking for ones that were going to be shipped from used bookstores, and you can usually tell by the title and all that. And so the shipping, the experience, just the care, like it was wonderful, you know, because you're supporting like somebody's local used bookstore. So don't forget about eBay. Like, it's still around, y'all. I was like, why did I ever forget about that? And two, when you go on it, on like the side, just select the option for buy it now. Not the whole like auction thing. Like, I know that's how they started, was auctioning. No, just click like buy it now. And you'll see a range of prices. And like I said, these were like for like $5 or less. And I got it like really quickly. And some of them came, like I'm in California, some of them came from like Midwest or East Coast. So I was like pretty impressed. So that is eBay. The seventh one is used bookstores, right? Here in Orange County, where I am, there is a local bookstore called Bookman. It's been around since like forever, and it's like rows upon rows upon rows upon rows of used books. Like, I was pretty impressed. I think the last time I went, I even saw a bunch of Daniel Siegel books in the psychology section. So they have a wide variety of genres, and like sometimes they do have like newer books that are like in the showcase or whatever, but like for the most part it's like used books. And I've seen like the Harry Potter collection. I've seen like all types of things. And one of the ones, although this is like old, but I kind of got it. I've gotten like a few books from them, but I was like, oh my God, this is like a classic. Who remembers like the Sybil case? And I mean, this is like from when it was published, clearly. I mean, look at it was from the psych section, $5.99. So I feel like this is a collector's thing. But I remember learning about this case in abnormal psych and, you know, everything. But they have, but anyway, there's a wide assortments at, used bookstores. So definitely don't forget to, you know, check out, like, see where your local used bookstores is and like kind of just go on a little adventure. I know if you're in Orange County, the Huntington Beach Central Public Library, there's actually a section in the library too where they sell used books like within there. So that's kind of cool. So don't forget to support like, you know, your local small businesses. Hopefully they're still around. This pandemic is rough. So like I said, the description's below. So these were the 7: rivetedlit.com, Little Free Library, Book Exchange, Cloud Library app by Bibliotheca, Fierce Reads, eBay, and then of course used bookstores. This isn't like everything, but I mean, this is like the ones that I use the most often. So I could very well create another, like a part 2, if you're interested. If you are, you know, definitely like this or comment below, and let me know too, like what other IG lives you would like. I know last year I primarily focused on monthly observances. I can still do that. I always do the monthly reading wrap up. So that will be the 30th, September 30th will be my monthly reading wrap up, although it'll be a combo of last month and this month. But let me know like what other videos you'd like, because like I said, I want to start incorporating like questions or things that like you want to know, and I can create little videos on that. So hopefully this was informative or helpful. Thanks very much for watching, and hopefully you have a good rest of your weekend, and go get some books. All right, take care.